Welcome back. In breaking news, we are now hearing with definitive proof that there are major banks and potentially big oil that are eyeing the internet computer. This comes after we have just seen the team at Dfinity, which has founded and basically are the main developers behind the internet computer protocol. They just released at the beginning of June the new Caffeine AI interface, which allows and shows both the front end, back end, and compute all the full stack of this application happening on chain on the internet computer. This is the first time in the history of the world that we've seen this actually happen. Now, just a few weeks ago, I showed you a video where Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, basically was talking about an on-chain protocol that's going to be implementing the full stack application of AI on-chain. Basically, he was talking about internet computer because internet computer is the only one that is doing it, and clearly by this has done it. But there were some special attendees at this conference, and some of these attendees, when I was going through some of the videos and the attendee list, I was quite shocked myself. And so we're going to be going through some of these interviews that occurred at the World Summit Conference, which was Dfinity's Internet Computer World Summit in June. And we're going to be showing you how big banks are looking at internet computer. So now we have big banks, big oil, and big AI all watching one ecosystem because of one groundbreaking revolutionary capability, which is putting AI, artificial intelligence, fully on chain. So make sure you guys are subscribed to this video, subscribe to the channel, and give this video a free thumbs up because today we're going to probably blow your minds with how exciting this is. And a lot of people are going to ask, Cryptoviser, what about the price? The price. We are going to talk about the price of internet computer as well. But I think it's less about the price of internet computer as the ranking and the sentiment and the feeling in the ecosystem about internet computer. Because by the end of this video, you are probably going to have a different viewpoint if you're bearish on internet computer, or even if you're bullish on internet computer, and maybe potentially realize that it's not really about the price, it's about the value. And it's about the valuation of the internet computer protocol, the internet computer capabilities, and more importantly, the underlying technology that is not just being developed, but it's being deployed. And so, yeah, we're going to be starting right here with Caffeine AI. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, Caffeine AI is the first implementation of real AI on chain anywhere in the crypto or blockchain space. And the reason they're able to achieve this is because of the internet computer's design as a compute network, high performance cloud computing network. That's where internet computer came from. That's why they also call it the world computer, because it's not just for interacting or for sending payments back and forth or creating a smart contract with just binary options, which most of crypto is. This is about computing and creating more and really entering this on the back end where you're going to have maybe not a walled garden OpenAI type of system where it's controlled by one company and they manage your data. This is putting the data back in your hands. You own the data. You allow the network to do with the data what you want the network to do with the data. And we know that blockchain is more secure than private internalized networks. And so we also have to understand what kind of development is going on. We've covered this extensively on my channel right here, that the internet computer is one of the most developed ecosystems in crypto, and not just developed by submitting actual GitHub repos, which is how they actually get this metric. It's actually from submitting GitHub repos and then deploying the technologies, right? That's a big difference because a lot of other blockchains, they submit GitHub repos. They're the most developed ecosystem, and they don't even have interoperability. Right? They don't even have a connection to Chainlink or Ethereum or any of these other chains. And so this is real metrics that we know are real metrics because we see the outcome. We see what Dfinity and Internet Computer are releasing. We can also see that over the last year and a half, this is Internet Computer versus Ethereum in terms of development activity. And you can see here that Internet Computer is the blue line and Ethereum as the red line. And around 2023, we started to see the flip, where we started to see more development occurring and starting to pick up pace while Ethereum started to just level out. And then in 2024 is when we saw the massive spike in internet computer development. And this is where I think the ICP team realized that they had this category, this niche in blockchain that nobody else is going after. And that internet computer is well set up for. And that was AI and compute. And so Dominic said after they just released Caffeine AI that the Caffeine AI demo only scratched the surface and excited to share more soon. Managing self-writing production applications, vibe coding hooks, enterprise features, Web3 features, new kind of economic features, full self-writing is now a thing and it's going to be huge. And he's talking about utilizing the AI that can write and create applications for you and then even go in and check the code to make sure everything works properly. The first in really technological history. And by the way, Dominic said this also. Something nobody picked up on is there will be an app store which anyone will be able to publish their apps to for others to use for free or for a price. And this is something that you could see in the demo when he's in the chat screen. Let me see where it is. Yeah, you can see right here at the top, it says Learn, App Store, and Caffeine Labs. I didn't actually notice that, and I figured that would be something that they're going to be putting out at a later date. But yeah, we're going to probably be hearing more about that as well. So you'll be able to create applications and then put them into the store for others to use. And this is how the Apple App Store was created. This is how the Google Play Store was created. And so really Internet Computer is taking on the big giants as well. But you said Cryptoviser. The title of this video is Citibank is eyeing Internet Computer. So can you get to that point of the video? We're getting there. We are getting there. And so we're going to be starting right here because this is a venture capitalist, Pedro from 3 Capital, which describes himself as a Portuguese regulated and privately owned alternative asset management company, elevating the future and empowering investments. And he was interviewed by the team at Dfinity about, and again, focus on, you have venture capitalists, the World Computer Summit. Why are they there? Well, they want to see what's going on. And then they're being presented with the first iteration of live on-chain AI, and no other network in the world in the blockchain space is able to implement this now. And even if they wanted to implement this kind of technology, it would take them years to develop and then deploy. And so Internet Computer really has a good first mover advantage here. And the fact that there's, some venture capitalists there looking about potential investments. Pay attention, pay attention. Let's listen in.
Wonderful event here and very happy to check this out. About me, well, that could be quite a long conversation. I'm originally an engineer that turned business very, very quickly. I spent like 30 years of my life in the enterprise IT world. Today, I sort of split my time in between 2 things. I run a consulting company, and I'm also general partner at 3 Capital, which is a regulated asset manager that invests in Web3 and several other things.
Okay, I heard you're based in Portugal. Could you tell us more about the investments currently in Portugal, in the Portuguese market? Are there any interesting startups there?
Yes, there are. For us, the earth is flat in what comes to investment, so we do not limit our scope to Portugal by far. We do stuff all around the world as it should be. There's no other way to look at the investment landscape. The country is a very nice country to live in. I was born there. Then I ended up living somewhere else for quite a few years.
All right.
Very nice thing to live there.
Yeah. But I have a question. So, what made you explore the ICP ecosystem? Do you see any opportunities over here?
Very interesting, guys.
So we're a little bit on the agnostic side in terms of the technology. Our investment fund, our VC investment fund right now, has 18 portfolio companies. One of them actually develops on ICP. which is
Whoa.
nice, of course. We see a lot of opportunities from people that take this thing seriously, and ICP seems to be one of them, combining technology with this vision, which is always important.
Amazing. And as a serial entrepreneur, do you have any advices for new coming founders that are building?
All right, we're going to leave it there. But guys, I want you to pay attention, right? Because this is what I've been saying on this channel for quite a while. The big money, they're not into the hype. They are into the real capabilities. And the issue this cycle is that a lot of these cryptos, they've been promising things for years and years and years and years and years, and they just have not delivered, even on portions of it, right? So if you're promising 100 things and you only actually are able to produce, let's say, 70, well, that's a pretty good percentage, 70%. But if you're promising 100 things and you actually develop one or two, it's not anything to celebrate. It really isn't, especially when most of these networks have had billions and billions and billions of dollars pumped out for funding grants to these projects to develop stuff. And a lot of them just took the money and didn't produce anything. And so now, unfortunately for those chains, they are way, way behind. They're left in the past. And as you guys can see and hear here, this regulated Portuguese venture capital fund is already investing in companies that are building on the internet computer. It is already underway. And so moving on, this is another, I believe, venture capitalist, founder of Reflexical and contributor to Flex Ecosystem. And so he was also interviewed at the World Computer Summit, and I thought it would be interesting to hear from him as well. And then we will get to the fun Citibank news in just a minute.
Hi everyone, we are here at World Computer Summit with Ajit Kurana. Ajit, it was a pleasure to meet you. Could you tell me more about yourself and your background?
Sir, I have been a serial entrepreneur, more than 30 years of entrepreneurship. I became an angel investor in 1998, January, so more than a quarter of a century of angel investment. And the Bitcoin bug bit me in September of 16, so crypto guy since then. Over the last few years, I've been running Reflexical, and Reflexical is where we are working with founders and causing them to succeed, but that's a very broad term. Our area of focus tends to be on making them succeed in the market, which means making their token product succeed.
Okay, so let's follow up on this one. So what do you think the founders need the most to succeed in this market and in Web3 especially?
So naturally, they need to have a product which a lot of people want to use. If they
Bingo.
have a great white paper and tokenomics and they even manage to raise a lot of money, well, they are just delaying their failure because money can last for some time. What really
Bingo.
works is people being your users. Now, for this purpose, when we say users, users of what? It is extremely important that we realize that every Web3 project has at least two products. One is their engineering product. By that I mean, their app, their DApp, their whatever else, their DeFi platform, their whatever else. This is the engineering product, but they also have the token product. A token is very different than, let's say, equity, where startups go and raise against their shares or equity. That is a financial instrument that gets listed many years later. A token becomes a complete product, usually before the engineering product. Before the engineering product is completely deployed, it's at MVP stage, the token gets listed. And if at this stage the token product fails, then the project fails even before the engineering product had the opportunity to succeed.
Wow, I like this guy because what he's saying is 100% correct. Most of these cryptos, they're chasing narratives now and they're trying to, oh, we can do this better than that. We can do this better than that chain. But they really don't have any product because they all launch these coins with the idea that they're going to max extract from it, whether directly intentional or not. That's what they did. And most of these coins that are in the top 50 that don't really do anything, that don't have users, that have not grown, if you really look, they all just were max extracting value. We've talked about this for years on this channel, protocols that have treasuries that are pumping out hundreds of millions of dollars of coins every single 3 months for development. And then there's no products, there's no users. And so when you start to see that domino effect to what this guy, I think his name is Ajit, Ajit is saying is that you launch the coin to extract value, but you have no product. If you think about capital markets like the stock market, typically these companies launch in like an IPO. Think about like Circle, for instance. They just IPO'd their stablecoin company. So Circle IPO, but they already have a product. They already have users. They already have payment rails. They already have a lot of market cap and actual underlying dollars. They already have all of this. And so they're launching their product, which is now the IPO, the stock price, to get equity in the company that is already running and already a success. And what Ajit is saying is in crypto, a lot of these projects do things backwards. And they launch the token before they even have a product. And so if you do that, then you get max extraction out of the coin, and then it fails because it's viewed pump and dump. It's viewed as, just a scam or a rug pull or whatever. And so the engineers that are behind building that, they've failed before they even started, and they could still work for years and years, but they're on that failure ramp because of the launch. And that's true. And by the way, Internet Computer experienced a lot of this when it first launched also. So what Ajit is saying here is 100% accurate. And again, this gives you insight into, the mindset of the people who are interested in Internet Computer. They're really thinking about the full scope. They're not looking at just extracting value or rug pulling or pump and dumping or promising you the world and not delivering. He's basically an investor in the ecosystem and saying, no. We need the product before the token. That way, when the token launches, people want the token because it's part of the ecosystem. A lot of ecosystems don't get this, and they're going to be max extracted value to zero, right? Let's continue listening in.
That is where I come in.
Yes, it's a huge problem in current market. So, but please tell me, what makes you explore ICP and what opportunities you see in ICP ecosystem?
Again,
Absolutely.
pay attention because this is going to give us insight into why people want to invest, why these larger scale investors, these firms want to build on ICP.
This way. I personally, whenever I choose to align with somebody, I am not opportunity driven, because the problem with opportunity is that I'm not the only one who notices the opportunity. So many other people see the opportunity and they come to fill it, and suddenly the opportunity disappears. I focus on alignment of thesis, alignment of principle, alignment of thought. So ICP is all about democratizing computing access. In fact, if you look at how social media, e-commerce, mobile internet itself, all of them are focused on democratizing access to something or the other. This aligns very well with my desire that whatever I do should be available to the largest number of people. If I had two options, one was to make a great engineering product which the top 500 companies in the world use, or to make an ordinary technological product which a billion people use. I would always use the second. That gives me the kick. And I think ICP is oriented towards making computing available to the whole world. In fact, I'm working with one of the projects of ICP called Rhino Spider, which just like ICP is World Computer, Rhino Spider is World Wi-Fi. So alignment of interest is very necessary. I'm part of Rhino Spider, but I'm also part of several of the initiatives that ICP is doing through its incubator called the Quantum Leap Labs, where they're creating new projects. My target is that when those projects go TGE and their token gets listed, the tokens should succeed.
Okay.
There you go. This is the mindset of the investors of the ecosystem. They're not talking about pump and dumps. They're not talking about short-term vision. They're thinking about the long term, right? And how to gain value is to build value and build a product. And this is where the big wigs come in. Now, before we get to the banking, because I know a lot of you are going to say Cryptoviser, we got to this point in the video, what about Citibank? Before we go there, let's start with Big Oil. This is the former head of blockchain at Shell, right? The oil company powering progress. Okay. They're exploring the intersection of renewable energy and Web3, and his mission is to discover how ICP can power energy transition. And I'm sure a lot of my viewers who follow Internet Computer probably never even thought about this. Like I didn't. right? When I think about energy and stuff like that, I do think about Bitcoin mining because we know that a lot of Bitcoin mining companies are getting into the Bitcoin, their AI or high power performance computing space and also into energy acquisition because energy is going to power all of these things. And so now you have Shell, you have former head of blockchain I didn't even know these oil companies had head of blockchain, but apparently they did or still do. And you have the big oil guys coming to ICP's conference to see what I mean, guys, do you understand like the level this is at and what internet computer technology, like this is not just a fun little game. Like this is big shit that's like these companies, and I'm about to show you a bank is looking at. They're not just showing up to these conferences to go get, a free little vacation, maybe eat and wine and dine. Like they're going there because they're investing and they're going to be using this technology. Let's listen in.
Hi everyone, we are at World Computer Summit today with Vikram Seth, former head of blockchain at Shell. Vikram, can you tell more about yourself and what's your background?
Yeah, so my background is mainly in the energy space, focused a lot on renewable energy and actually economics around that. And recently, in the last 5-6 years, I realized how helpful Web3 and blockchain can be to further the energy transition.
Okay, let's follow up. So how do you think the blockchain and ICP can help this transition?
First of all, Dfinity and Dominic and to the whole team, guy is the best interviewer because you'll go to some conferences and they'll like miss the points, but he goes straight to it. Like, why ICP? And that's what we're all wondering, right? So let's get the answer.
And how do you see this transition going forward in like next 3 years?
Yeah, so I think one of the reasons I'm here is to learn more about ICP and also understand how much has anybody in the ICP ecosystem looked at the energy sector and energy use cases. I think so. ICP's vision is to be the decentralized world computer, right? And if we're going to really have like a global energy infrastructure which is moving much more towards decentralized and distributed, then there's so much space in the entire blockchain ecosystem with many different protocols to really look at that and see what they can contribute to it. And so I think this is something critical for ICP to look at as well, because energy is such a fundamental part of our lives and will become even more important as we're building out more AI, etc. So really, I'm here to learn about that answer and see where can ICP work with the energy sector and use cases.
Okay, amazing. And have you found any particular synergies or any projects today that could help in establish your vision? Or
I was speaking to somebody who had a really interesting, out there project that they were looking at, which is basically using over-the-air charging. So you could walk around anywhere, and your mobile phone can get charged potentially from the photons coming from a light above you or a transmitter. So that would be very cool, and I don't think I've really seen that anywhere else. So yeah, let's see where that goes.
Now, I've heard about this before as well, but I think this is way, way, way far out. I don't know that it's a need yet, but it's definitely, the point is, right, that they're looking for what people are trying to build within this ecosystem. And I would imagine they're also looking at what people are not looking to build, because that could open up apparently the people that he's spoken with, they're not really looking at the energy infrastructure and renewable energy and how that can be impacted with what they're trying to do here. And so, there's a lot of potential here with what he's saying with energy. And I would also say probably with the Bitcoin mining companies as well, potentially getting a partnership with Internet Computer or Dfinity to host some of the nodes for the network. That could be pretty big as well, and kind of go into diversifying Bitcoin mining companies' portfolio of infrastructure, so they could be Bitcoin mining nodes for different networks, and also AI, and they could switch on and off depending on which is more profitable at the time based on energy and usage and all of that. So the guys, former head of blockchain at Shell is is at the World Computer Summit. And by the way, Citibank's Kelvin Ibrahim cut through the innovation noise with a simple truth. Start with the problem, not with the solution. So we have Citibank sending their team to the World Computer Summit. And there's people here who would say, but Cryptoviser, Internet Computer has no capabilities. Nobody's interested in Internet Computer. Let's just say I don't think that the founder of these venture capital firms or the Citibank or Shell, former head of blockchain, were at a Solana conference. Wait, were there any Solana conferences? I don't think that they were there though, right? Because they don't have the technologies. As we've talked about, Internet Computer, against all odds, they've come out of a failed token launch. And they're the only blockchain on Earth right now that is running AI on chain and compute and high performance computing as well. That's quite the turnaround, going from $800 price at launch to $2 in just a few years. And during all that, ignoring the noise and just building and building and building. So let's listen to this conversation, because I know most of you came to the video for this. Because yes, Citibank is eyeing ICP. And by the way, if you're up to this point of the video, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Also, give the video a free thumbs up if you like this kind of content. And you want to help support the channel financially, click the join button down below to learn more about becoming a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month. If you think this is worth $1.99 a month, at least click the join button to learn more, or at least give the video a free thumbs up. Let's listen in to Citibank at the World Computer Summit for Internet Computer.
Hi everyone, we are at World Computer Summit 2025. I'm here now with Kelvin Ibrahim. Kelvin, can you tell more about yourself and what's your background?
Hi everyone, I'm Kelvin Ibrahim, and it's a pleasure to be here. I work at Citibank as a product manager, and aside that, I'm also an author. I recently released a book. We should all be product managers, but I'm excited to be here. The room is packed with so much going on. There's 1,001 people that I need to say hello to. There's so much innovation going on out here, but I'm most importantly here to learn and to connect and to see how we can all collaborate together.
Tell me,
A bank collaborating with the internet computer community. Well. Guys, there's no other channel on YouTube bringing this info to you in this kind of manner, with all of these videos combined, with all of the channel's history with this blockchain and going through the journey of saying, wow, internet computer went from $600, $800, $2. Seems like a rug pull. It seems like all the insiders were selling. But then we found out about FTX. Then we found out about World Computer. Then we found out about chain fusion technology. Then we found out about AI. And now with Caffeine AI, which is really the full product suite for AI, front-end user interface, back-end, the actual product itself, and then the actual network computing on its own without any external networks or middlemen. That was quite a journey in just 4 years of the internet computer's existence. And now here we are with Citibank, excited to be at the Internet Computer's World Computer Summit. I mean, it's pretty amazing stuff. Let's continue listening to what he thinks about all this.
what we can learn from you? What do you think? You mentioned the book, the product management. So what do you think? What the projects needs product managers and product management in general?
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that question, because I think being here, I've sort of found my purpose now, because aside the fact that I'm here to learn, but I'm also here to let everyone know that product managers have key components of every team. And what's the role of a product manager? A product manager is to help every team realize that there has to be a value proposition. So if you go around, a lot of people are creating so much, doing so much, there's so much innovation out there. But the most important question we're to be asking ourselves is, what's the value? What's the differentiation? What's the differentiating factor between what you're creating and what's out there? So we need to begin to look internally, see how much the product and the initiatives and the inventions that we're creating is meeting the pain points. What are the needs of the people? It's one thing to create so much, but it's most importantly to first of all understand what is the value and what the pain point is out there before we create. So that's the conversation I'm having with everyone here. I'm like, yeah, I'm a product manager. Tell me about what you're doing and tell me about your product team as well. I need to know the research that has gone into this and what features and what innovations are you bringing to meet the pain points of the users out there.
So basically, I mean, my take on that is he's basically telling us all right now what Citibank wants to then go make an investment or go make a partnership or maybe make a connection. Because I don't know that I'm buying the whole product manager thing. To me, it just sounds like he's just trying to, talk about product management, which obviously is important. But these points that he's talking about, these are basic, investor questions. What is the valuation? What is the value that you're bringing, right? You could have a very grand valuation in the market, like we talk about, right? I mean, look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin has a valuation of $28 billion. But is it really worth that much? Does it really bring that much value to the world? I mean, from a valuation standpoint, clearly it does, but we all know the answer to that is really no, right? So things are overvalued. And so overvalued things are not investable. You want to look for undervalued things. This is what investors do. Investors, banks, individuals, hedge funds, traders, they look for the diamond in the rough. They look for the crypto that is undervalued, aka internet computer, but brings so much value to the world. Because at the end of the day, over time, value will outpace valuation. That's why you see a lot of projects launch and they do pump and dump, right? They go straight up 10x, 20x, 30x, and then they just dump straight down. Or they go up slowly over the course of time. Think FTT token from the last cycle or Terra Luna. And then they collapse because the value of the network was based on air. It was bullshit. It was gas, right? Because Terra Luna, we don't really know the full scope of what happened with Terra Luna, but effectively Terra Luna, BlockFi, Three Arrows Capital, Celsius, FTX, they were all over leveraged. They were saying they were valued more, like FTX. They were like, oh yeah, we're a $30 billion company. Meanwhile, they were bankrupt. They didn't have any money. They overtraded everything, or at least apparently they did. And so the valuation outpaced the value. We are looking for the value not being outpaced by the valuation. We want undervalued companies because that means the valuation, the market cap, or however it's valued, is not matching what the value of the underlying network is. And so what he's saying here is absolutely true. Like your product, what is the issue? What is the problem that you're solving for? And is this a problem that people want solved, are willing to pay to get solved, right? Think about just banks or payment processors, or even just if you're a merchant, right? And you're taking credit cards from customers. You want to lower those fees, even though it's only like 2, 3, 4%. That may sound like not a lot, but then you have taxes, you have insurance, you have rent, you have to pay your employees. So there's a lot of other expenses. So you're trying to save 2% here, 1% here, 2% here. So I get that. And so when you think about stable coins, you can process payments way faster, way cheaper. I mean, literally it's a fraction of what you would pay in traditional payment rails, like through a bank. But even if the rail, even if the network took a larger portion of a cut or a larger fee, it would still be cheaper than the traditional banks. And so in that situation, you are solving a problem that people want solved and could scale and could grow and could be implemented in many different business lines, right? And so from a valuation standpoint as an investor, that product may be investable. And that to me seems like what he's talking about here, because that's what project management is, right? Otherwise, you're creating products that nobody really wants, I mean, I've seen people like open up stores and they're like, oh, I really wanted to open up this store. And it's like, well, it's not really a good business model. Like, how are you going to make money doing this? You know what I mean? Anyway, let's continue listening into what Kelvin says from Citibank.
Amazing. And you mentioned that you are from Nigeria, so I have a question. So, do you have any idea or how we can support the emerging countries, of what support the emerging countries currently needs? Because often people talk about supporting them, but yeah, what are the current needs right now, in your opinion, and how we can support them?
That's a very, very key question. And that's something that I've sort of discovered in the room. A lot of these emerging technologies and emerging and companies as well, the numbers are in Africa. There's a vibrant population of young people that are in need of these technologies that that is, for lack of a better word, they're marginalized. So there is that hunger, there is that desire for all of this that's going on out here. So taking this back home, you have the numbers, you have the young population, and you have the people that actually need some of this initiatives and products that are being created. So coming from Nigeria, I can tell you that Nigeria has a very, very young population, and a lot of technologies going out to Africa will be very, very instrumental to changing the lives and the narratives of young people across the continent.
Yes, thank you. I know that we have a lot of hubs in Africa. I know we have it in Kenya, in Nigeria as well. And I know that community there is a vital part of the ICP ecosystem. But I want to ask, like, what made you explore the ICP ecosystem?
So it's very interesting because,
Look how excited he got, by the way.
for me personally, I feel like there is no coincidence in life. So a friend of mine was supposed to be here, but he somehow couldn't make it. And I was like, I'll take it up. For me, I am here because I'm here to learn. So I'm here to understand, the system. It's one aspect of, of products and technologies that is revolutionizing everything. And so I'm most importantly here to learn and to see how I can be part of that drive on the long run.
And did you find any interesting today?
Oh, trust me, I've had different conversations all around the room, but I have just come here not too long ago. But as I am now, I already have a key number of key people that I need to engage in conversation so far. But I think, for instance, we've been thinking about blockchain and how blockchain can be leveraged into finance. And I'm also keen to have that conversation to see where the synergy can be.
There you go, guys. Citibank is, just last minute, completely by accident, he ended up there. No, guys. Citibank is sending people to these conferences because they want to dominate in the new world of digital finance, the new world of DeFi, decentralized cloud, DAI, all of these different realms they're getting into. And I think that the Bitcoin ETF launching in 2024 started this trend. And I think that as time goes on, we're going to see more and more. But again, they're looking at the projects with real fundamental value, with real technologies, not promises, not pie in the sky, we're going to have this done in 2 more months. 2 months come around, we just need 1 more month. And 1 more month comes around, we're delayed for another year. That is no longer acceptable because now Wall Street's involved, now the big monies are involved, and now banks are involved. And these banks are going to be plummeting money, like by the truckload into these projects that have real capabilities, real technologies, and real futures. And unfortunately, because a lot of these cryptos have been around for many, many years, and many of these cryptos have not done even a fraction of what they set out to do, /promise, said over and over that they were going to do, and they still haven't done it. Those projects are done, guys. It's over. It's done. They may still have a high valuation, but the value of these chains are no longer there. When we see 3 projects, Fetch AI, Ocean Protocol, SingularityNet, merging into artificial superintelligence, and then more than a year later, they still have no actual on-chain AI capabilities. An internet computer is launching AI capabilities on-chain in full implementation in less than 4 years since the creation of this ecosystem. And meanwhile, you took the minds from 3 of the different projects and they couldn't even get that done in a year. I mean, this is what the banks are looking at. And they're saying, where do we need to invest? Where do we need to learn more? Where do we need to see where we can maybe potentially go in and build or integrate or connect. That's what they're doing. We see it with the venture capitalists. We see it with the banks. We see it with the energy sector. And by the way, Dominic posted this. We're not going to read through it because it's like a 20-minute post on X. But either way, basically what he's saying here is there's still so much misconception about what internet computer is capable of, what this AI implementation is capable of doing, because people still view the rest of crypto the same way as internet computer. They still view internet computers, oh, it's just a blockchain that can process transactions, not realizing that internet computer DFINITY have reinvented the way that the blockchain is able to operate. That internet computer is trying to become a decentralized compute platform and democratize the use of these networks versus highly centralized Amazon Web Service or Google Cloud, for example. And so there's a lot of people who don't understand this yet, in the space and out of the space. But I want you guys to remember, just because the valuation is not where we think it should be, does not mean that this is not undervalued. Because valuation and value are two different things. Valuation is just a number based on the math. Value is where is it sitting in the like, think about it. If OpenAI goes public, IPO, and they're worth $100 billion, you're telling me that internet computer is only worth 2.7 billion? And there's a very big potential that OpenAI is going to be worth $100 billion or more. And they're a centralized walled garden AI protocol that is going to have building on it, but it's going to be all walled garden building versus decentralized compute, decentralized cloud. You're going to be able to do a lot more than just AI on internet computer. And so the value of the network is infinite, literally. Maybe that's why the actual logo is the infinity symbol, because the value of the network is infinite. But the valuation is way off. And so you guys let me know what you think about Citibank, about the former head of blockchain at Shell, about all these venture capitalists going to the Internet Computer World Computer Summit and giving you guys their opinions. Understand that they're going out, they're learning about these ecosystems. And so there's a lot of people out here that are they're sleeping on internet computer. Well, the banks are not. And you and I are not. So let me know what you guys think about today's video. Don't forget to give the video a free thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, check out my other videos on this channel. You can just type in the Cryptoviser on YouTube, the Cryptoviser ICP, and you'll see all of the ICP videos that we have. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Invest responsibly, do your own research, and crypto on.